All right, guys, we are going to be day trading today. GDP data came out higher than expected, 2.8%. Maybe it's going to give us some volatility. Yesterday, we had one of the biggest corrections in the market in months. Yesterday, big drops in microchips, tech, everywhere basically dropped in the S&P and the NASDAQ here. So let's get ready to day trade, chat. I'm ready. Let me know if redirect worked. It should have worked. If it didn't work, let me know, but it should have worked. Yeah, we're going to pull our charts up and get ready to day trade today, guys. What do you guys think the NASDAQ is going to do today? Green or red? Let's do a poll here. We got gold up on the right side, the SPY up. We might day trade gold a little bit too. Here's the NASDAQ. All right, cool. It worked. Nice. Yep. Before you go look at everything, guys, remember, I am terrible and I have no idea what I'm talking about. I might be wildly wrong about anything and everything I say. It's for entertainment purposes only, and my experiences may be conducted in real time. I might trade off stream. You're not going to see all my trades. I do have sponsors that pay me money, and I'm biased in their favor because they pay me money. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations, chat. We'll see if what happens here. I'm going to buy this dip in markets. So we're going to buy this dip. We're going to buy 3 contracts. We did make a little bit of money yesterday. I'm going to take a little piece off. Goal is to build up small profit ahead of the, there we go. All right, so a little $25 gain there. A little $25 bill. I'll take it. And let's get ready. We'll put the timer up to the opening bell here. What do we have? 26.5 minutes left. All right, so here's the opening bell timer. Looking to trade trends today mostly. There's gold on the right side. Gold all the way down to 283.60s today. So gold decreased a lot. Again, GDP data showed up at 2.8%. Versus 2% expected. Will this cause volatility? We'll see. Yesterday was one of our worst days trading call options. Yesterday was a rough day, bro. Honestly, I've been getting beat up day trading all week. Although we did make money yesterday, I think. All right, so we bought some Southwest Airlines here. I'm gonna go ahead and take some profit on my kind of a little mini day trade here in stocks. We bought up Southwest this morning, pre-GDP data. Where's TIF? Oh, there it is. All right. But yeah, we bought up GDP, or we bought up Southwest pre-bell. Feel me? All right. So yeah, we took a little bit of profit just now because we can. We're gonna sit on the rest. I think we bought up Meta, and Meta's green too. Yeah, we bought up Meta, we're green. We'll take a little bit off of there too, just because we can. All right, we took a little bit off of Meta also. Almost green on the day now, based off of the stuff I bought, which is cool. VIX is at 18. Can y'all hear the music? You should be able to, but let me know if you can. Micro NASDAQ getting rejected. Yes, we got a little down wick. I'm going to buy this back. I should have added more size here. All right, we're going to add 6 contracts here at the bottom. See if we get a little pop back up. Take a little bit more off there. There we go. Take a little bit more off there. Getting some heavy volatility. All right, so we're up about 50 bucks just now, scalping a couple green trades. Let's see if we can run this up. Goal is to build up a cushion in the next 25 minutes. And with that cushion, use it to trade larger size. So I'm using Trade of 8 through Apex. Apex is a funded account program where they give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account. If you can pass the test with the demo, they fund you between 25K up to 300K with a regular account, and there's no PDT rule. In futures, you could day trade the S&P, the NASDAQ, basically the SPY and Q. Patterns are very similar to blue chip stocks. There's no PDT rule in these funded account programs. Severely limit your risk. Severely limit your risk. Again, the base one's 35 bucks. You can get the 25K, 150, 250, or 300K challenges all for about 35 bucks if you use my link and coupon code BT. If you pass the test, great. You get 25K, 150K, 250K, 300K in funding with a 90% split. And so if you take those accounts, you make 20K. You get to keep 18 of that. Since they're funding you the money, they get to keep a couple grand. And you also get to keep your first 25K in profit. But if you lose, you're out 35, 40 bucks a month if you use my link and coupon code. So check it out. Great way to help support the channel. Yeah, my volume. Maybe I should change. There's the link in chat if you want to help support your boy here. They are a sponsor of mine. They pay me money. I'm biased. We're going to be looking for trend trading today. The last couple days we've been trying to kind of buy reversals, and that hasn't really gone the best for me. And so today what we're really going to try to identify, target, and trade is we're going to try to identify, target, and trade trends. Trends, extension. My bias is certainly bullish today just based off of how much everything is down yesterday. Everything's down a ton yesterday. And so my bias is definitely bullish. And so that's what we're going to target. That's what we're going to trade. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm holding Tesla long term. I've been in Tesla for a long time. I'm probably going to stay in it. We did buy Southwest earlier. We're green on that. What is this? Oh, we bought Microsoft too. We're green on that as well. John, do you think pay week helps market? Sometimes. Depends on what's like. I think pay weeks helps the market in small cap stocks. You know, like because most of the people that get paid check to check like that instead of like salaried employees or business owners, they are buying small caps and stuff like that. And the amount of times they're buying large cap stocks is not really going to influence it in that big way. Small caps are different though. Gold break it over the 200 EMA. So gold over the 200 EMA. NASDAQ E-mini. Hey, what's up, Tiny? I was finally able to recover, hold, and grow my paper account. Hey, congrats. Hey, that's great. That's great. Keep going, Tiny. Nice job. Gold still pretty flat, stagnant, sideways. I had a friend who owned Lucid at 65 a share. I told him to sell it. He did not. Are you gonna hold Tesla all the way down like he did? Just wondering if you have a stop order in place. I mean, my average price on Tesla right now is 176. I'm very green on the position overall. And so, yeah, I mean, as for whether I'm going to hold Tesla, I don't know. I'm very green on the position overall. Like I said, I've been in it. I've been green. You know, I think it's important because, like, okay, I think you're describing a very lesser known company. I think EVs are risky in a lot of ways if you're not holding Tesla, maybe Rivian, or Legacy Automotive, right? Outside of that, any EV brand you buy is a super, super sketchy investment. Why? Because you have to take into account how many people actually want to buy those brands, right? Does anybody want to buy a Mullen? No. Does anybody want to buy a Lucid? No. Does anybody want to buy an NKLA? No. Does anybody want to buy a Polestar? No. You know, like nobody's buying those brands. And so the risk of investing in those companies is like, I would never buy those companies. Consumers don't want to buy those companies. They don't have enough people interested in buying those companies, like in terms of actual production numbers. And so, but Tesla is wildly different than any of those brands, right? Tesla is a tech company, builds algorithms, builds FSD. Like you see Cybertrucks all around the world. People like them. And I think it's just wildly different. I think if Tesla stays on the front of FSD, they're going to make a lot of money licensing that out. Tesla just has a lot more diversification in terms of their business everywhere, right? Tesla bot, FSD, actual vehicle production, algorithms, AI. they're just much more diversified business wise than Lucid, which is a brand mostly anybody outside the stock market doesn't really know what a Lucid is, and so the amount of customers actually interested in buying it are very low. And I think that's been a very predictable thing. If anybody's been listening to me for years, you've heard me say this exact same thing verbatim for years, right? So it's not like this is a new bias just because Lucid's down. I've been saying this when Lucid was up. Maybe Rivian. I see some Rivians driving around. Maybe Rivian's different, but I just think there's risks, in EV outside of the big boy, Tesla, maybe Rivian, and maybe the legacy automotive brands. Right. Yeah, it's like comparing a small coffee chain to Starbucks, 100%. Yeah, I mean, your friend was dumb for buying Lucid at $65 a share and holding on to it, in all honesty. That's a dumb trade, bro. Listen, it's subjective. Everybody's different. Maybe it's big risk, big reward. But like I said, I couldn't imagine buying up one of these up-and-coming EV brands and thinking that I was going to make tons of money. I think that comes from I'm trying to be nice, from a not-so-analytical mind. And it's all love. It's all love. Bless their heart, Anyways, if AI is great in 5 or 7 years, now is the time to buy. Sure, right? If AI is big, and I think AI, I've noticed myself, right? AI is addicting to use. I use AI a lot to query things now on the internet. Like, people ask me questions. You might hear me typing away using AI to answer those questions. So, yeah, I mean, but the reason, okay, let me show you the big difference here in analytics between Lucid and Tesla. And again, number one, I'm in Tesla. I'm up in Tesla. My average price is 170s. We're at 220s right now. And again, to be honest, I took a lot of profit on the way up when we hit 240s a couple weeks ago. Still though, okay, let me show you guys. All right. The differences between Lucid and Tesla, right? This is Lucid's margins over the past, this is Lucid's margins over the past 5 quarters, past year and a quarter. The margins are actually getting better, by the way, but I don't know, man. I just, like I said, I think people get super excited, and I think sometimes they ignore logic. And I think my take on EVs has been the same for years. It's been a very obvious take. I think anybody that looks at a lot of these EVs objectively understands that Tesla's different, number one. There's certainly still risks with Tesla. I'm not saying Tesla's going to be successful. I'm not just going to talk about the good stuff. I could talk about the bad stuff as well. The risks for Tesla are simple. Musk overpromises, gets really outspoken politically, and when you're that outspoken politically, you're ostracizing a large percentage of your user and customer base. And I think over time that's going to hurt him if he continues to be super polarized in that way. I think if you're selling things to the consumer markets, you have to be neutral. And I think if you're not neutral, 50% of the people involved are not going to want to buy your stuff. Now, I don't think he necessarily cares that much about it. I think he's very wealthy, and so it doesn't really matter either way for him. But I think that's a risk, certainly. I think if you're holding Tesla, if you're invested in Elon's companies, that's certainly a risk, and I don't think we can pretend it's not. And maybe it helps him. Maybe he gets more support. Right? That's certainly a different way to look at it too. But it's a risk. All right. The other thing is that he overpromises. Right? He again, the Robotaxi event was supposed to be next month in August. That got pushed back. Prior to the Cybertruck debuting, he told us it was going to come out for years and pushed it back, right? And then we find out that the margins weren't as good as they could have been, right? So it's not like it's a sure thing either. I'm not here to say that. But what I think is, objectively looking at EVs, I think the future of driving is going to be FSD. I think within 15 years, cars are going to be driving themselves. We're going to have the infrastructure for it. And once people see somebody riding in a robotaxi or riding in a car that drives itself without needing to even have a driver, that's going to be a very persuasive and addicting thing for people, and it's going to snowball and get larger and larger and larger. And if Tesla stays on the front, that's going to be an incredibly profitable thing for them into the future. And I think that is the future. I don't know if it's going to be in 20, 30 years or if it's going to be in 2. That's the future. And if Tesla is smart, they'll stay on the front of that. And that means potentially exponential growth for them. But again, there's obviously risks as well. I don't like blindly supporting anything. And so I like looking at both sides. And those are my 2 sides, both good and bad for Tesla. But I think it's worth the risk to a certain extent. It just depends on how much money you have and how much you're okay with risking, in all honesty. And again, let me know what you guys think. 15% of the time it works 80% of the time, 70% of the time it works 100% of the time. That's all I'm saying. You guys are missing the point. We follow price. We don't guess the future. Oh, we certainly guess the future. Everybody guesses the future. Warren Buffett guesses the future, bro. I think you're missing the point, but it's all love. But I think you're missing the point, brother. Like you could look at charts, you could look at everything like that. I think you have to, when you invest long-term in a company, you have to do the thought experiment of, hey, is this company going to be around in 10 years? And what does that look like for said company? When you look at Tesla, the future of automotives is full self-driving, in my opinion. Cars are going to drive themselves without drivers, robotaxis, all that stuff. And if Tesla's smart, they'll be on the front of it, in the future. But it's certainly a future guessing game, and I think you have to do it on the other side. Like when I look at AT&T and Verizon and companies like that, I think they're on the opposite end of that. I think over time they're going to lose interest, lose market share. People don't want to lock themselves into long-term contracts for phones. They can use prepaid or use cheaper options. Very similar thing to Dish. One of the companies that I was the most critical on is Dish on Demand, which I don't even think they're around anymore. Yeah, so Dish isn't even a stock anymore, I think. And again, I was very critical of this company. I said nobody uses satellites in that way for TV anymore. It's obsolete. You don't need them. People have high-speed internet almost anywhere. And so companies like Dish On Demand, cable companies, are going to fail, and I think you have to do those type of thought experiments long-term if you're investing into things. It's not just about price or charts or whatever. It's about what that company's future looks like. And to be fair, I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah, but I mean, BB, BB said, no, good traders do not guess. We trade setups. Yeah, but I mean, now you're trying to pivot to insinuate that we're only talking about trading, and we're not. Like, we're talking about investing clearly here. If I'm talking about 10, 15 years into the future and the implications of FSD, that's obviously investing, I'm trading right now. Like, I'm day trading. And again, the NASDAQ is breaking highs, just to go back to the market. Look at this high right here. We got a triple top right around where we are now on the NASDAQ. Look, right here, here, and here. And so we got pretty big levels there. Let's see if we can break over these levels. It could act as resistance as well. Like, look, here, here, and here. And so now we're retesting that level. Now, here's the obvious range. Right, there's the obvious range. And let's see what happens to that range. Chat, what do you guys think? Will we go break the upside, downside, up, down, red, green? Hey, John, I'd like to know your thoughts. What's better, Broadcom or NVIDIA? I don't know. I think NVIDIA has more potential, but it's up massively over time, so short-term extension's higher. Broadcom I know less of a company. I'm not really invested in it, but I know it's very strong. I've watched it grow over the last few years. I had people in jiu-jitsu telling me about Broadcom, but it's still a pretty new company. It's only been around IPO-wise since 2023. Or no, I'm sorry. I had a, never mind. Yeah, I just don't know Broadcom as much. In a stock picker's market, the guessing game is your edge. Yeah, well, in investing, you got to guess. Everybody guesses and speculates. Your job is to guess correctly and analyze long-term history or long-term future outlook for a company. Figure out whether it's going to be obsolete, figure out whether it's going to do great, and make calculated guesses based off of those probabilities. That's the game of it. investing is just day trading on a monthly or weekly chart. Yeah, but I mean, BB, to be honest, bro, technicals are good. But when you're investing in something, technicals mean lesser and lesser, right? I think that's an important part of this. Like, you're talking about investing just being day trading on a monthly or weekly chart. And again, I think you're looking at it from a trading perspective, which is not really the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it in terms of investing in companies. You're looking at it in terms of trading a chart. And I think the more you zoom out, the less you need to trade the chart, and the more you need to look into the financials and potential outlook of each individual company, you know. But again, it's all love. Here, I'm going to start talking about stocks. So we got 9 minutes to trade, chat. 9 minutes. Let's see what we get. AT&T at 20. AT&T, honestly, super high dividend paying. It's had a really good year. I don't trust it for the same reasons I talked about, but I don't trust AT&T because of this, right? Here's the opening bell. We'll see what we get. Here's AT&T, right? There's gold at the top right. I don't trust AT&T because of this long-term trend, because I think, you know, look, it's been downtrending since 2016 for almost a decade. That's a pretty bad long-term trend. Now, it is at the top of that range, so we'll see if it breaks. Right, investing is buying something for years. You know, I think that comes from a lack of understanding about it. And I think a lot of people, you know, again, I think like one thing I see is that a lot of day traders always think the market's going to crash because they're used to that crazy volatility. A lot of investors understand how rare market crashes are. But day traders hyper focus on market crashes a lot of the time because they're not used to it. Investing is buying and holding something for years and years and years, decades, you know. That's the biggest edge play in markets. The biggest long-term play in markets with the highest edge is buying and sitting on stuff for years. But I day trade. We're going to day trade today. We're at the top of the range, though, so I'm going to wait. And we're up a little bit. I would buy more. Let me try shorting. We'll short a little bit up here. Small positions. We're just kind of hanging out. We'll add a little bit more to this. 2 contracts. We'll add a little bit more since we're in the green now. 3 contracts. I do want to sell before the open, though, so... flat. I do think the edge is on the upside today, though. I think the market's pushed up a lot. Or I think the market's pushed down a lot, I mean. And so I think if we have an edge, it's going to be on the upside today. But again, I might be wildly wrong. I have no idea. You know, we'll have to wait and see. Flat. Now we're slightly green again. We'll add a little bit more to this if we can, like right here. Really at a triple top at the top. Eventually it is going to break, though. I don't want to get stuck in that break. Alright, back down to where we're kind of flat on the position. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Alright, so yeah, we're kind of flat. Now we're green. Now we're red. There we go. There we go. Alright. All right, so we're up about $100 on the day. We got 5 minutes until the open. We're up about $100. Right, 100%, Mr. Charlie Munger. The big money is not in buying and selling, but in waiting. 100%. High returns don't actually require high effort. Absolutely agree. Hey, later, Fred. Look at that short. So we were right about a short. And again, the reason we wanted the short here is because we were right at this triple top range. All right, let's see what we get. GDP, PCE data is tomorrow, so maybe we're going to have choppy retracements to today. All right, guys, get ready. Big dips, corrections. NASDAQ E-mini is sitting right at its 200 simple moving average. We need to wait to see if it gets rejected. Yeah, for sure. I like the 200 EMA. This 200 moving average. There's not much difference between the SMA and EMA, but I like them. I think they're long-term moving averages that a lot of people pay attention to, and so they have more influence. All right, so there's a dip. I'm gonna put gold back up on this top right chart. I'm gonna put the NVIDIA chart up here because I think NVIDIA is moving everything too. Statistically, bull flags work 80% of the time. Nah, they don't. I mean, everything works under the right context and the right conditions, I'll say. You know, so like, there's a lot more nuance to it than just working 80% of the time. If anything worked 80% of the time, everybody would only target them and be rich, you know. I think maybe under the perfect conditions, sure. But if NVIDIA gets to 115, we can see a run. Yeah, I think 120 is a big milestone spot, though. We got 2 minutes left, chat. 2 minutes. So, I mean, we'll see. We got a little bit of green on the day. I mean, I think in futures, Alejandro, that's the best move, personally. I mean, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not an investment professional. Alejandro said, how do you know what to trade daily? Only focus on the NASDAQ, but feel like I'm limiting myself. In futures, there's not that many other options. You can trade the NASDAQ, which is the QQQ price action. You could trade the S&P, which is the SPY price action, the E-mini. Or you could trade like gold, you know, you could trade oil, right? Like you could look at oil and other stuff. I think it's better. You know, Bruce Lee famously said, I don't fear the man who has practiced 1,000 different types of kicks. I fear the man that has practiced one type of kick 1,000 times, right? And I think you got to correlate that to trading a little bit and look at trading in the same way. Like sometimes it's better, instead of having to paint everything with a broad brush and learning all these different systems and strategies and concepts and symbols, sticking with one, learning really how to be profitable in one specific symbol, couple different strategies only, and just really reinforce those type of skills. It's going to be better, easier, less stressful, less variance, I guess is the point. Like you're going to have less variance, which as a poker player, variance sucks. Limiting variance is key. I bought Southwest this morning. It's going up. We're in meta. I'm just trying to get higher. W advice, thank you. Yeah, all good. And again, if you want to day trade with me in futures, right, check out Apex funded account program. They give you a demo, test your skill with a demo. If you pass the test, they fund you. If you fail, you only lose what you pay for it. The base one, 150, 250, and 300K challenge is only $35 if you use my link and coupon code. But you can get tens of thousands of dollars in funding with a 90% split. They paid out over $200 million since 2022. I think it's almost $300 million. But check them out. They're a sponsor. They pay me money. I'm biased. Here's the opening bell, guys. Here we go. We got, there's the opening bell. Ding, ding, ding. Market's pulling back a little bit pre or post open. In phase and Viking breaking out. Yeah, watching video way down here. So I'm going to put the VWAP and the 200 EMA up. I'm going to wait at least a couple of minutes to trade. Big downwick and bullish pressure coming in. Honestly, my portfolio looks pretty solid, you know. Today, at least. It's slightly red, but it's coming back. NVIDIA, still technically red on the day. It's trying to get back up green. It's over the 200 EMA, though. My Salesforce trade has paid me pretty well. That's good. T-bill is up. All right, some big decreases on the day here, chat, so far. We're starting to move towards like the bottom of this range here. You can see this low, and this low, and all this support right here. So look at that level right here. That's a big milestone level. Let's see if it holds. Start to bounce. Yeah, GDP today was much higher. Yeah, I did too. I transitioned from poker to stocks. Alejandro. I've always been a big poker player. Poker's my first love, if you will. I always liked checkers, chess, poker. Once I saw the movie The Big Short, I ended up look, Southwest has completely filled the gap that we bought after earnings, so I'm gonna go ahead and take some more off here. Just covered some more. You love to see it. Bought it at 25, even. NASDAQ is down pretty significantly, though. It's all based off of NASDAQ, so we just broke under that big level we talked about, too. We still have this low right here, though. That's important. But, yeah, look at the big drop we get after we broke under that key level we talked about. So, again, we broke under that massive level right here. Look at the big dump underwards. I've played bridge. I'm not a big fan of it. I like poker. I have the biggest edge in poker. I've played it the longest, you know. In terms of like ranges, you know, hand selection, 3 bets, like everything like that. I just know it. Bridge, something I don't really know super well. I've played it though. All right, equity's bouncing back. Almost green on the day. Almost. I'm gonna buy this dip. It's kind of risky. One contract here. We're up almost $100 on the day. I'll add to it, try to fix my average here, but I'm gonna take half off and protect the trade a little bit more. I think I shouldn't have bought it. Whew, barely missed this drop. I shouldn't have bought it this. I gotta wait. I'm working on building up my discipline here. I don't want to trade the first 5 minutes especially. And so I need to limit my risk and wait, even though we did get this big breakout under. Like, I drew this level right here. And we're still green on the day, by the way. But I drew this level right here, and then we dumped under it, you know. And so I really had the itch to short it, and I let my emotions get the best of me here. So I got to wait. Which character do you relate to the most from The Big Short? I'm definitely not Mark. Mark had balls of steel and like refused to sell, even though they should have. I'll probably relate to the Brownsfield Fund guys, which isn't really the name of the fund. Their logic was they tried to take long-term options on super unlikely like macroeconomic events happening in the what kind of market is it? It's when you create contracts for it. It's called the what kind of market? Chat, help me out. I know it. I'm drawing a blank. Somebody in chat will help me out. What kind of market am I talking about? Where you create contracts on things that are not generally marketed. Well, no, none of those things. Chat. Yes, derivatives. Derivatives is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about derivatives. So yeah, so basically Brownsfield Fund created or you know, would basically do trades with people on long-term options based around things that had a super low probability of happening. And so, you know, the deals that they got were really cheap because these things were super unlikely to happen. So when they were wrong, it was very small losses, but when they were right really, really big, and they made big profits betting on super unlikely events happening, right? I can't remember the real name of the fund. It was actually a real fund. It's a true story. But yeah, essentially they would create derivatives, long-term contracts based off of super unlikely things happening, and a lot of people would jump on those bets, you know, with bad odds, you know, because, you know, they were so unlikely to happen. It was such a sure thing. And so they lost small amounts of money, but when they were right, when something super unlikely happened, they had such good odds in those derivatives contracts that they made millions of dollars doing that. Really interesting strategy. I'll probably relate to them the most, or at least I would like to relate to them the most, right? Super smart guys. But anyways, market's still flushing. Nvidia down to 110s. I certainly don't want to buy up anything. All right, we're at the bottom of the range now, chat. When we zoom out here, here's the long-term range we've been talking about all day. We're still green on the day. I haven't really traded a ton. But there's the long-term range. We got some bottoms of this level here, a little bit upward sloping. But we do have some bottoms here that we're approaching. We'll see what happens there. If we stay choppy, we're going to bounce. We do have PCE data tomorrow. Nvidia is bouncing back up as well. But yeah, we do have PCE data tomorrow, right? So PCE might make the market apprehensive and nervous, and so we could have choppiness leading into that, I guess is the point. Disney bouncing up a little bit. You love to see it. Southwest is bouncing. What else did I buy? I bought Meta. I'm down a little bit on that one. Did I buy Amazon? I don't think so. No. What did I buy? How about I know I bought something else here. I might have added to something. I bought Southwest. All right, let's see what Nvidia does. Nvidia bouncing up to the VWAP here, the 112 level. Right, it's they did a very similar thing, Fro, to sports bettors, like professional sports bettors. Not all these dummies online that act like they've got some super high edge and are selling picks for $500 a share to degenerate gamblers. Not those guys, right? Because the reality is, if you're good enough at sports betting, your platform will kick you off, basically. They don't want your action. And so most people make money selling courses on sports betting and selling picks and call outs on sports betting to people who are so desperate and kind of to make money that they just ignore red flags. But Brownsfield Fund was a very similar strategy to them, to actually the pro arbitrage sports bettors, where they would find bad, evaluations and risk for from the odds makers, and they play off of those bad, odds on the sports bettor themselves, right? That's what the real pro sports bettors do. But again, they got to use a lot of different phones, different IP addresses, all this crazy stuff to avoid getting caught, because if the platform catches them, they will boot them off and ban them, right? So these guys acting like they've made all this money on sports betting sites and that, they're selling you call outs or picks, or usually have no idea what they're talking about and are just hoping you're dumb enough to buy them. Anyways, Nvidia is still pushing up to the volume weighted average price. It's at 112.20. GDP was 2.8% higher than expected. Nvidia's starting to bounce. You can see it on the bottom right chart. So it's starting to get up there. So let's get higher. We'll see. Part of me doesn't know whether I should buy the dip, and if Nvidia rejects at the VWAP, this might continue to drop. We're also at the very bottom of the range, though, and I do kind of want to trade with the trend here today a little bit more. So I'm waiting. Nvidia right at this VWAP level, the volume weighted average price level, you can see it right here, starting to push up. Like, here's the VWAP right here. And so we are literally right there testing the volume weighted average price. Again, if we reject, this could flush the NASDAQ down a little bit. If we break over it, hold support, and continue, obviously the NASDAQ could keep climbing higher. I think it's too much of a no man's land trade to really bet on anything right now. We're too middle range. And we're just going to wait and see. If GDP is higher, does it cause the dollar index to go up? Sometimes. If you look at the Dixie today, yeah, it did have a positive reaction to GDP. And it makes sense, right? Higher GDP means more people spending dollars. GDP value goes up, or Dixie value goes up. But it's not always. It's not super like Dixie moves a lot inversely with equity. So if equities go down big, Dixie goes up, and vice versa. All right, again, we bounced right at the bottom of the range. NVIDIA broke the VWAP and held support, and now it's continuing higher. We're approaching the 200 EMA up here. Choppy range so far, probably heading into PCE, which is a monster report tomorrow. That's going to be a big thing you want to watch. GDP is a huge report tomorrow, so we'll see. And again, if you want to day trade with me, I'm up about 50 bucks. We're kind of letting our, we're waiting for the first 10 minutes to pass, 15 minutes before we really start taking trades. If you want to day trade with me, check out Apex. Again, Apex is one of the most legit funded programs in the world. They give you a demo. They test your skill with a demo account first. If you pass the test with a demo, they fund you between 25K all the way up to 300K. And for the time being, you can get the 25K, 150, 250, and 300K challenges for 35 bucks if you use my link. All of them come with real-time data, which is going to cost about the same amount. If you buy it yourself in a demo account, you're going to get, it's going to cost about the same, about 35, 40 bucks, I would say. But again, if you pass it, they fund you 25K with a 90% split. If you build up 10K after that, you get to keep 9 of that. They keep 1,000 since they're loaning you that money. And again, they pay out millions, fund thousands of traders. They paid out over $240 million to their traders since 2022. They fund thousands of traders. Great way to learn how to day trade. Although you want to confirm all of this stuff with them. I'm not 100% sure with all of it. You want to definitely confirm it all with them first. Understand they're a sponsor. They pay me money. I'm biased because they pay me money. If they paid you money, you'd probably be biased too. Here, check out the link right here. Use my coupon code. All the way back up to the top of the range here. Choppiness. NVIDIA dumped under the 200 EMA for a second. Has this big down wick, which signals buying pressure. And is trying to get back over the 200 EMA right now. Choppy range is what I see. What do I mean by choppy range? I mean, right now, at least over the last, overall pre-market session, shorting the tops, buying the bottoms is what makes sense, obviously. Because why? We have this neutral sideways range. If we were trending up, maybe you could short the top or cover or whatever, but right now, we got a very neutral sideways range. And again, the real reason is because NVIDIA has been flat since the opening bell. And really all morning, you can see the previous closing price for NVIDIA up here, which is what the whole market is following. Yeah, I mean, Dev, I think this comes from a lack of understanding about price movement. So Dev says, and again, I think this is a rookie perspective. No offense, Dev. It's all love, but I think this is a rookie perspective. You said NQ is a load of trash. Today, all of a sudden, and for no reason, it's heading up. What investors shook off their fear from yesterday after tanking the dumping the market, ready to invest again? 700 plus drop yesterday. And what buyer? Yeah, so again, this is a rookie perspective, Dev. I'm going to tell you why. Okay, so a lot of rookie traders, right? Let's say this is the opening bell. Okay. Say a stock gaps down this much, right? Rookie traders will say, hey, look how far this is down. It must be weak and it must continue going down, right? That's the rookie trader perspective. And so they ended up shorting right here. And what ends up happening? The gap ends up filling. Momentum is on the upside because it's down so much, and the gap ends up filling. You see this a lot with Southwest. The more experienced trader has this kind of thing where, say something gaps down a huge percentage. An experienced trader says, yo, this is at the bottom of the range. Let me buy this instead. Ride a little bit of a bounce. Even if it's in a downward trend, I can cover up here and it'll, keep going down. A new trader might look at a gap up and say, hey, look how strong it is. Let me buy it. And then it fills the gap. An experienced trader says, hey, this is at the top of the range. It's up 10%. It's extended on the upside. I'm not buying it up here. It's silly. It's risky. It's unnecessary. There's a difference. Right. And so because of that, you acting like because the NASDAQ dropped yesterday means that it must continue to drop today. Again, all love, but rookie perspective, bro. Really what we have right now is choppy range, neutral sideways activity. I mean, we reacted to GDP. GDP came in at 2.8%. Market went up a little bit. But again, I think if we look at if we really zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out. We got a really choppy market. Remember, tomorrow's PCE data. So tomorrow we have PCE data coming out. inflation data. It's the Fed's preferred inflation metric, right? So tomorrow PCE data comes out, inflation metrics, and yeah, I think the whole market might be waiting for that and taking caution instead. What do you think of GameStop? GameStop looks good. It's rising up. I'm in GameStop. I've been in GameStop. I'm in AMC as well. But here's GameStop right here. And yeah. All right, so we're at the bottom of the range here. Now this is starting to look weak. All right, we bounced a lot this morning already. But this is starting to look weak. So we're starting to test the bottom of the range. We're trying to see what tech stocks are dragging this down. No, GameStop's up. I think, you know, I mean, good is relative, but nothing better than the taste of fresh fear in an oversold setup. Yeah, maybe. I don't know though. I think a lot of it really is ultimately dependent on Nvidia, and I think if you zoom in on Nvidia and you look at the small moves that Nvidia is making, like Nvidia makes this small move under the 200 EMA and the VWAP. What happens to the Nasdaq? The Nasdaq dumps from people fearing it. People scared Nvidia is going to go like this, and it might, you know. And so what you see that magnified move in the stock market, right? And like, look, you can even see it right here. So like, let me zoom in real quick. If I zoom in here, right? Like, look at this bounce happening, and what's it on the cusp of? It's on the cusp of Nvidia bouncing back over the VWAP. Look, we got this little rebound back too. So when you zoom in, honestly, if you look at it honestly, the whole market's reacting to Nvidia. Look, Nvidia coming down under the VWAP, Nasdaq coming down. It's just a magnified move in the Nasdaq because of the Nasdaq's range. But everything's based and influenced by Nvidia right now, because Nvidia is the king of microchips, and microchips have what have led the market over the past few years. And so everybody's watching Nvidia to get macro moves on the Nasdaq and trying to play those. So now we're right at the bottom of this range here. Now the risk now, so we're finally at the bottom of the range. We had this big rebound bounce. Nvidia just cracked under this level. I'm gonna short this heavy if I can. 3 contracts. Boom. All right. All right, we're up about 100. I would have stayed in it. Let me see if I can short this little pop too. 2 contracts. I know we're at the bottom of the range, and it's definitely risky. There we go. My dog won't be quiet. I have to go yell at my dog. Not yell at him, but correct him. Yeah, hey, baby. Get Bruce to be quiet. Bruce is not being quiet. Dang it, Bruce distracted me in my trades. I blame Bruce, the dog, for that last loss. Alright, we're short. It's really hard to concentrate when you got a dog screaming at you. Alright, guys. I took a little bit larger position here because I can, and we're kind of flat on the day, but there we go. All right, so we're up over 100 here, Chad. So we did make that work. We're up $103. Here, baby, put him in the put him up if he's gonna keep barking like that. Oh, you can't hear him? Yeah, he's outside. He won't be quiet. My dog, Bruce. He's a great dog, but my fence is down from the hurricane, so he has to go in our front yard, and a lot more stuff, a lot more action happens on the front yard. All right. Alright, so again, we're back at the bottom of the range. I'm going to short this top up here again. Smaller size than that last trade, though. Last trade probably went a little too heavy. Our accuracy's been pretty good, honestly. Alright, so we're out. We're up about 130 on the day. Watching NVIDIA reject and react to this VWAP level here, chat. Would today be a smart time to DCA into my long positions? I have no idea, Nick. It might be, it might not be. I genuinely don't know. Not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. Always make your own assessment. I do trade off stream. I'm not even claiming to be a good trader. Understand CFTC 4.41. Hypothetical or simulated performance have limitations. Not claiming to be good at anything or anything. But with that said, it depends, right? Depends on what stocks. DCAing into everything's not good. I like DCAing into blue chips, and it depends on how long. The big context we need to determine that is how long are you willing to hold. If you're willing to hold things long term, maybe it might be a good time. I might consider DCAing into stuff right now. But if you need your money soon and you can't risk it long term, then it's probably not the best time for it. Yeah, AMC GameStop moving here. I do see those. AMC up to 490s. All right, test the bottom of the range, but NVIDIA has been hyper flat for a while now. Rosie, baby. Hey, how you doing? Here, Carol. Wet Rosie's in my office right now. Hey, Rosie, out. That's a good girl, but out. Nope. Out. Thank you. Here, let me turn this off. Nope. Out. You're wet, baby. I can't have you in here. I'm sorry. I love Rosie, but she's soaking wet right now. All right, so we are testing the bottom of this range, these lows. AMC GameStop running up. All right, guys. So.
Hey, guys, I wanted to show you.
You think you just fell out of...
Honestly, man. All right. All right, so we're testing the very bottom of the range. Look at NVIDIA start to really flush. It's down to 111s, chat. So NVIDIA started to really break down. We have this bottom low right here. And so I'm going to try to buy this up with a small position here. Just a small position. We'll add to it if we get in the green. But if not... All right, so we just added a little bit to it. 2 contracts here. And we'll see if we get that big pop. There we go, a little bit more. 2 contracts now. I want to give it a chance to bounce back. Here we go. We took half off. We're up a little bit now. Now we're kind of flat. We get one more retest of this low. I got to cut it, but I think I'll give it time to bounce. I'm out. This is that low break. So we got basically flat. NVIDIA cracked lows of the day here. It's down to 110s right now. We're still up 120 on the day. Trying to build this cushion. Nah, Rosie is the most spoiled dog you'll ever meet, right? I love her. I love Rosie. Rosie's my favorite dog in the world. I love Bruce, but Rosie's my favorite. Rosie's super expressive, but she is the most spoiled dog you'll ever meet, right? Like Rosie, if I grab her collar and pull her, she will fall on the ground and go and like act like she's hurt just so we'll pet her and give her more love. Because if we accidentally like step on her toe or something and she goes like we'll pet her and give her all this love, so she'll literally fake being hurt to get love. But she's just super expressive, super spoiled. Like Bruce will eat anything, right? Bruce will demolish his entire plate in about 30 seconds every single time. And then if Rosie's much more picky. She wants treats, she wants jerky, she wants soft beef. Like she's much more picky. She won't eat kibble, you know. And part of it is because we baby her and we give her so much food and like, you know. Rosie wants to sleep like at the front of our door. All right, look at the market cracking lows here. Anyways, we're gonna go back to the market. NVIDIA down at 110. Again, if you want to see what the market's gonna do, see what NVIDIA does. Yeah, I love dogs too. All right, guys. Big low of the day break. Momentum on the downside. Breaking down here. I'm not buying this up yet. Maybe we break down some more, but man, NASDAQ cracked lows again. Big corrections on the rise. The question is, will GameStop correct? All right, now we're gonna buy this dip. There we go. All right, we're out. So we made about $140 today. Small day. This is my second green day in a row. We're starting to get the hang of, you know, waiting. Yeah, I've been day trading so much in pre-market because my streams have revolved around pre-market for so long. All right, guys. So we got that little bounce here. Who drew this support level? Did I draw the support level? Did I draw the support level? Look at that. Hold on. Wait. Here, let's look at a longer term chart. Look at that support level that we drew. And then look at the bounce happening right exactly at it. Nice. NVIDIA's starting to bounce out. Again, you can see everything's kind of a microcosm of NVIDIA, to be honest. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. We're green on the day. I don't want to give it back. My equities portfolio is certainly red today, but it's not that bad, to be honest. We're actually green in a lot of stuff like Nike, Salesforce, you know, Snowflake, Treasury bills, Tesla. You know, we're green on a couple different things. I'll see you guys later, though. I'll be out of here. Y'all have a great day. Also, again, if you want to check out Apex, again, Apex gives you a demo. They test your skill with the demo account first. If you pass the test with the demo, they fund you a regular account. It's a great way. I call it the best of both worlds, where you got limited risk, but also, like, you have limited risk, but if you're good enough to pass it, you can get tons of funding for cheap, right? So your risk is limited to monthly prescription of about 35 bucks a month. If it's just one account, you can also reset it for another 35 bucks. And if you pass it, great. If you fail it, you probably lose more money putting the money up yourself. If you risk thousands of dollars in day trading, you're probably going to lose it if you're a new trader. It's much better to risk 35 bucks. If you pass it, great. If you fail it, it's not the end of the world. Check out Apex. They're a sponsor of mine. They pay me money, though. I'm biased. Confirm all of this stuff with them. Use my coupon code, though, if you want to get the max discount. And if not, I will see you guys a little bit later. I gave you guys the wrong link. Hold on. There we go. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. I'll be back tomorrow. PCE data tomorrow, chat. PCE data tomorrow. I'll see you guys later.